Venezuela's Maduro says U.S. fabricating war as it deploys world's largest warship.
Venezuela's president, Nicolás Maduro, has accused the U.S. of fabricating a new war after it ordered the world's largest warship to be sent to the Caribbean. The USS Gerald R Ford can carry up to 90 aircraft, and its deployment marks a massive increase in U.S. firepower in the region. The U.S. has conducted 10 airstrikes on vessels in the area as part of what it says is a war on drug traffickers. U.S. President Donald Trump has accused Maduro of being the leader of a drug trafficking organization, which he denies, and there are fears in Venezuela that the U.S. military buildup is aimed at removing the longtime opponent of Trump from power.
The U.S. is among many nations that do not recognize Maduro as Venezuela's legitimate leader after the last election in 2024 was widely dismissed as neither free nor fair. Opposition tallies from polling stations showed its candidate had won by a landslide. Venezuela plays a relatively minor role in the region's drug trade. The Pentagon said on Friday that the USS Gerald R Ford carrier would deploy to the U.S. Southern Command Area of Responsibility, which includes Central America and South America, as well as the Caribbean. The additional forces will enhance and augment existing capabilities to disrupt narcotics trafficking and degrade and dismantle transnational criminal organizations, spokesman Sean Parnell said. Maduro accused the U.S. of seeking a new eternal war in his address. They promised they would never again get involved in a war, and they are fabricating a war, he told state media. The carrier's deployment would provide the resources to start conducting strikes against targets on the ground. Trump has repeatedly raised the possibility of what he called land action in Venezuela, saying earlier this week that the U.S. is looking at land now, after getting the sea very well under control. We stopped all drugs from coming in by sea. I will stop all drugs from coming in by land very shortly. You'll see that starting, he told reporters at the White House on Saturday before departing for a trip to Asia. The U.S. has also bolstered its air presence in the region. Verify has identified a number of U.S. military aircraft across Puerto Rico.
It comes as reports Trump is considering targeting cocaine facilities and drug trafficking routes inside Venezuela, but is yet to make a final decision. Secretary of State Marco Rubio played down the deployment to reporters on his plane flying to Qatar on Saturday, saying, "We have deployed U.S. assets and interests all over the planet, but when we do it in our own hemisphere, everyone sort of freaks out." But he reiterated the Trump administration's view that Venezuela poses a serious threat to the U.S. through the illegal drug trade. Quote, "Unfortunately, the regime that governs but is not the government of Venezuela is a transshipment organization. They allow cocaine from Colombia and other places to be shipped through national territory, not just with the cooperation, but in many cases with the participation of elements of this regime." End quote. Military analysts have pointed out that intercepting drugs at sea does not require a force as big as the current U.S. one.
On Friday, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said 6 male narco-terrorists had been killed in an operation in the Caribbean. He said the boat had belonged to the Tren de Aragua, a transnational criminal organization which has its base in Venezuela and has been proscribed as a terrorist group by the U.S. State Department. The U.S. airstrikes have drawn condemnation in the region, and experts have questioned their legality. This is about regime change. They're probably not going to invade. The hope is this is about signaling. Dr. Christopher Sabatini, a senior fellow for Latin America at the Chatham House think tank, told the argued the military buildup was intended to strike fear into the hearts of the Venezuelan military and Maduro's inner circle so that they move against him. The strike was the latest the Trump administration has carried out against alleged drug traffickers since early September. Most have taken place off the coast of South America, in the Caribbean, but on 21 and 22 October, it carried out strikes in the Pacific Ocean as well. At least 43 people have been killed. Members of U.S. Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, have raised concerns about the legality of the strikes and the president's authority to order them. On 10 September, 25 Democratic senators wrote to the White House alleging the administration had struck a vessel days earlier without evidence that the individuals on the vessel and the vessel's cargo posed a threat to the United States. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, a Republican, has argued that such strikes require congressional approval. Trump has said that he has the legal authority to order the strikes. We're allowed to do that, and if we do it by land, we may go back to Congress, Trump told White House reporters on Wednesday. Brian Finucane, a former U.S. State Department lawyer, told that the situation amounted to a constitutional crisis that the U.S. Congress, controlled by Republicans, has appeared unwilling to challenge. It is the U.S. Congress that has principal control over the use of military force. That control has been usurped in this instance by the White House, and so it's up to Congress to push back, said Mr. Finucane, who now works at the International Crisis Group,